I stood frozen in that courtroom last spring, my pulse hammering, as my sister's icy stare cut through me like a blade. The creak of the old wooden benches, the murmur of strangers judging my life, it all faded when her lawyer slid a single damning document across the table. How did we end up here, enemies in a place where we once shared whispers and dreams? She was the one who braided my hair at 10, who promised we'd always have each other. Now, she'd stolen more than my trust. She'd taken my home, my children's future, with a lie I still can't unravel. Each strike of the judge's gavel buried our bond deeper. But what was in that paper? What truth did she twist to destroy me? I'm a mother, broken but not beaten, ready to tell you the raw truth of my betrayal. If you've ever felt a loved one's knife in your back, stay with me for this story. Like, comment, share your pain. I need to know I'm not carrying this alone. Last spring, I stood in that courtroom, the air thick with the sour tang of polished wood and stale coffee, my sister Laura's stare slicing me open like a switchblade. Her eyes, once soft as the dusk we'd giggle through as kids, were now ice, sharp, unyielding, pinning me like a moth to a board. The judge's gavel cracked, a gunshot splitting my chest, each thud shredding the sister who'd braided my hair, at 10, whispering promises of forever in our shared twin bed. Her lawyer, a slick weasel in a cheap suit, slid a single sheet across the table, its crisp edges screaming secrets I wasn't allowed to know. My nails clawed into the chair's wood, splintering it as Laura's lips twitched, a smirk, venomous, like she'd already won. The room buzzed with strangers' whispers, a chorus of judgment I couldn't dodge, their eyes boring into me, peeling back my skin. The judge's glance, sharp and pitying, said it all. That document wasn't just paper, it was a guillotine, and my neck was on the block. I lost everything that day. Our family's Victorian house, its sagging porch and creaky attic where Emma and Jack built blanket forts, their laughter echoing through walls now stolen. Laura's betrayal wasn't just a legal jab, it was a theft, a gutting of my kids' home, our history. In the parking lot, her heels clicked against asphalt, her back to me, already moving on while I choked on rage. Back at our rented apartment, a shoebox with thin walls and a faint mildew stink, I found a photo tucked in a drawer, Laura and me gap-toothed, grinning under a summer sky. My throat burned, a question clawing up. What did she hide? Emma's stuffed bear, threadbare and soft, lay abandoned on the couch. I clutched it, its worn fur soaking up my tears, and swore to unravel her lie. This wasn't just loss, it was a crime, and I'd dig until I found the truth, even if it tore me apart. The courtroom's echo followed me, the gavel's rhythm a taunt in my skull. Laura's smirk replayed, a loop I couldn't pause. Had she always hated me this much? I remembered her at 10, her fingers gentle in my hair, her voice a conspiratorial hush as we planned pranks on Mom. How did that girl become this stranger, her eyes cold as the document that ruined me? I sat on the floor, Emma's bear in my lap, my kids asleep in their cramped room, their world smaller because of her. The photo stared back, Laura's young face unreadable now, a mask I'd never questioned. Was there a hint of this back then? A crack I'd missed? I didn't know, but the weight of her betrayal pressed down, a stone on my chest. I'd fight for answers, for Emma and Jack, for the home we lost. Laura thought she'd buried me, but I was still breathing, still clawing. This was my story now, raw, jagged, mine, and I'd chase her truth until it bled. The Victorian house wasn't just brick and wood. It was us, me and Laura, our childhood etched in its warped floorboards, now stolen by her lie. I slipped inside, one last time, the air heavy with dust and betrayal, each step a creak that screamed her name. The attic smelled of mildew and forgotten summers. There, I found her diary, its pages brittle, her teenage scrawl spitting venom. She always gets more. Laura's words, jagged as broken glass, cut deeper than her courtroom smirk. Had I been blind to her jealousy all these years? Or was this new, a poison brewed in secret? Mrs. Ellis, our nosy neighbor with her pinched face, caught me outside, her whisper conspiratorial. She'd seen Laura weeks before the trial, whispering with a man in a suit in the driveway, his voice low, urgent. My stomach twisted. What was she planning? I called Mark, my lawyer, his voice tight over the phone. The document claimed I'd stolen Mom's estate, a lie so bold it burned. Emma, my 8-year-old, curled into me that night, her small body trembling. Why does Aunt Laura hate us? Mommy? Her question was a knife twisting in my gut, her tears soaking my shirt. I had no answer, just a hollow ache. Back in our rented apartment, I dug through old emails, my eyes burning from lack of sleep. One from Laura, buried deep, stopped me cold. You'll never know my weight. Cryptic, cruel, like she was taunting. Me from afar. I traced Mom's locket, its cool metal a tether to the past, and remembered Laura's face when I got it after Mom died. Tears, yes. But something darker, a wound I'd ignored. Was that the spark that lit this fire? The house's shadows seemed to lean in, whispering secrets I couldn't grasp. I paced its empty rooms in my mind, the attic's forts where Emma and Jack once played, now Laura's by law. Every creak of that house felt like a ghost, urging me to dig deeper. Laura's diary hinted at a grudge older than the trial, a resentment I'd never seen. Had she always felt like the lesser sister, the one Mom overlooked? I saw her at 16, slamming doors, her eyes flashing when I got praise. I'd thought it was teenage angst, not a seed that'd grow into this. The locket's weight pulled at me, a reminder of Mom's love, and Laura's lack of it. I sat in the dark, Emma's question echoing, her stuffed bear clutched tight. The house was gone, but its ghosts clung to me, their whispers a call to action. I'd find Laura's truth, even if it meant tearing open wounds I didn't know I had. She thought she'd won, but I was still here, still fighting. My rage a slow burn that wouldn't die. Mom's locket burned against my chest, a cold, cruel relic of a love now twisted by Laura's hate. In our rented apartment, its faint glow lit my obsession, each tick of the clock a pulse of betrayal. I needed to know why she'd turned on me, why she'd gutted our family. I drove to Mr. Tate's office, Mom's old lawyer, his room dim with the stink of old cigars. He leaned back, eyes wary, admitting Laura tried to contest Mom's will years ago, her voice sharp with resentment. She'd backed off then, but why? What had festered since? Back home, I opened the locket, its hinge creaking like a warning. Inside, our childhood photo stared back. Laura and me, smiling under a willow tree, but her eyes held a tightness I'd missed, a flicker of something sour. Had I ignored her pain even then? I tracked down Susan, Mom's friend, her face creasing. When I pressed her, she faltered, voice low. Laura blamed me for Mom's final days, said I'd left her alone, stealing her last moments. The words landed like a slap, my breath catching. Was there truth in her hate? Jack, my 12-year-old, found a letter in a box of Mom's things, Laura's handwriting jagged. She stole your love from me, Mom. I read it in the dark, the locket's chain tangling in my fingers, its weight a curse I couldn't shake. Laura's hate wasn't new, it was old, a root twisted deep in our past. I saw us at 15, her slamming doors when Mom praised my grades, her eyes dark with something I'd called moodiness. Now, it looked like rage. Had I been so wrapped in Mom's love I didn't see Laura fading? The apartment's thin walls closed in, Emma and Jack asleep, their breathing soft against my storm. The locket felt like a noose, its photo a lie of sisterhood. I remembered Mom's funeral, Laura's tears. Had they been grief or fury? Susan's words echoed. Laura thought I'd abandoned Mom, but I'd been there, holding her hand while Laura stayed away. Or had she? The letter burned in my hands, Laura's pain a mirror to my own. Was I the villain in her story? I sat in the dark, the locket's cold metal biting my skin, wondering if her hate was older than I'd feared. Had I missed the signs? Too busy basking in Mom's light? The letter, the photo, Tate's words, they spun a web I couldn't untangle. Laura's betrayal wasn't just the house. It was a lifetime of slights she'd tallied in silence. I clutched the locket, its curse sinking deep. Love could break as much as it built. Have you ever held a keepsake that turned your memories into lies? The man in the suit haunted me, a specter tied to Laura's lie, his shadow creeping into my dreams. My anger was a slow burn, a coal glowing red as I hunted him, determined to crack her betrayal open like a bone. I found Claire, a PI with eyes like flint, in a diner that smelled of grease and regret. She agreed to track the man Laura met in our driveway, her nod sharp, promising answers. Days later, she called. His name was Daniel, a lawyer with a rap, sheet longer than my grief, tied to Laura's firm. My pulse spiked. Had he crafted her lie? I slipped into Laura's office at midnight, the building dark, its silence heavy with risk. My heart hammered as I rifled through files, finding one labeled with my name, its weight a warning. Inside, emails between Laura and Daniel, cold and calculated, hinted at a forged will, Mom's signature, a cruel fake. My hands shook, the paper crinkling, proof of her betrayal staring back. I called Laura, my voice ablade through the dark. "What are you hiding?" Silence, then a click. She hung up, leaving me with nothing but my rage. Back at the apartment, Emma's sobs broke. The night. She'd overheard me raging about Laura, her small face crumpling. "Is Aunt Laura a bad person now, Mommy?" Her words were a gut punch, her eyes searching mine for a truth I didn't have. I held her, her tears soaking my shirt, and swore to shield her from this poison. But the emails burned in my mind. Daniel's name, a stain. Claire texted at 2 a.m. Daniel was meeting the judge tomorrow, the same judge who'd buried me in court. My stomach twisted. This wasn't just Laura's doing. It was a trap. I paced our cramped living room, the locket swinging against my chest, its chain a noose. Daniel's face, imagined from Claire's description, sharp jaw, dead eyes, haunted me. Was he the puppet master or just Laura's tool? I saw her in the driveway whispering with him, her posture tense, secretive. Had she planned this for years, or was it a sudden snap? The emails didn't say, but their tone, cold, precise, felt like Laura's smirk, now inked on paper. I clutched Emma's bear, its worn fur a tether to my kids, my reason to keep digging, the eye. Truth was close, but it felt like a blade at my throat ready to cut. Daniel's meeting with the judge was a thread I could pull, but what would unravel? Laura's silence on the phone echoed, her refusal to speak a wall I couldn't climb. I saw her at Mom's funeral, her face pale, eyes red. Not just grief. I realized now, but something darker, a seed of hate. The apartment's walls pressed in, the night thick with questions. I'd find Daniel, confront him, make him spill. Laura thought she could bury me, but I was still here, my anger a fire that wouldn't die. Laura's forged will wasn't just a document. It was a blade, carving out my family's heart. My grief had hardened into rage, the locket scorching. My skin as I chased proof, no matter how it burned. Claire sent photos at dawn. Daniel, his smirk oily, slipping an envelope to the judge in a courthouse alley, their eyes locked like thieves. My stomach churned. This was my judge, the one who'd slammed the gavel, stealing my home. I called Mark, my lawyer, his voice heavy with dread. The document was a will, naming Laura sole heir, wiping me out. A lie, inked in Mom's name. Dug through Laura's file, stolen from her office, and found the will, a mockery of Mom's looping script, the curves wrong, a fake so bold it screamed. My hand shook, the paper crumpling under my grip. Emma crept into the room, her 8-year-old eyes wide. "Will we see Aunt Laura again, Mommy?" Her hope was a splinter in my chest, her small hand clutching mine. I lied, saying maybe, but the truth was a void. Laura had erased us. I drove to her house, the night thick with spring rain, and pounded on her door. Silence answered, an empty echo mocking my fury. Back home, I found Mom's old voicemail on my phone, her voice frail, cracking. "Laura's hurting, baby. Don't let her go." The words were a gut punch, Mom's plea a ghost in the dark. Had I let Laura slip away? Or had she chosen this? The will's lie burned in my mind, its fake signature a betrayal deeper than the house. I saw Laura at 10, her fingers in my hair, her laugh bright. Where had that girl gone? The locket swung, heavy, its photo a reminder of a sister I'd lost long before the courtroom. I sat in our apartment, the walls thin, the air stale with mildew. Emma's question echoed, her hope a weight I couldn't carry. The photos from Claire, the wills, wrong curves. They pointed to a conspiracy, Laura and Daniel twisting Mom's memory. I remembered Mom's last days, her hand in mine, Laura absent. Or was she? Had I missed her pain, too wrapped in my own grief? The voicemail played again, Mom's voice a knife. Laura was hurting, but how had it turned to this? I clutched the locket, its metal biting, a curse tying me to a past I couldn't untangle. The judge's face flashed in my mind, his pitying glance now sinister, bought by Daniel's envelope. Laura's silence at her house was a wall, but I'd break it down. I'd find proof, expose her lie, for Emma, for Jack, for the home we'd lost. The night pressed in, the voicemail looping, Mom's words a warning I'd ignored. When does a sister's pain become a weapon, turning love to ash? I didn't know, but I'd chase the truth, even if it left me bleeding. The judge's deal with Daniel wasn't just a betrayal, it was a machine, gears grinding me to dust. In our dim apartment, the locket heavy against my chest, I sat plotting while Emma and Jack slept, their breaths soft against my storm. Claire's call came at midnight. Bank records showed Daniel funneling thousands to the judge before my trial, a bribe as bold as Laura's lie. My pulse spiked, the air sour with mildew and rage. This wasn't just Laura. It was a conspiracy, and I was the mark. I met a courthouse clerk in a diner, her hands trembling as she whispered about the judge's favors, her eyes darting like a trapped animal. She'd seen cash change hands, deals sealed in shadows. Back home, Jack, 12 and too sharp for his own good, found a note in Laura's old diary, tucked in a box. "She'll pay for Mom's love." The words were raw, Laura's rage a live wire. I confronted Daniel at his office, its glass walls cold, his grin a blade. "What's Laura's price?" I asked, voice steady despite the fear clawing my gut. He leaned back, smug, saying nothing. Claire called again. Laura was leaving town tonight, her car packed, ready to vanish into the dark. My heart lurched. She was slipping away, taking my answers with her. I gripped Mom's locket, its metal a pulse, and remembered Laura at Mom's grave, sobbing. "You always chose her." Had I missed her pain then, too busy with my own? The clerk's words, Jack's find, Claire's warning, they spun a web, the judge's stain at its center. I saw Daniel's grin, Laura's smirk, the judge's gavel, all linked, a trap I'd walked into blind. The apartment's walls closed in, the locket's chain a noose. I replayed Mom's funeral, Laura's tears, grief or hate. The diary note burned in my mind, her words a mirror to my guilt. Had I taken Mom's love, leaving Laura to rot? I saw us as kids, her laugh bright, her eyes warm. When had they turned? Cold? Claire's text lit my phone. Laura's car was at a motel, her escape imminent. I needed to move to catch her before she was gone. The judge's corruption was a thread, but Laura was the knot I had to untie. I sat up, the night thick, Mom's voice echoing in my head. Laura's hurting too. The locket pulsed, a reminder of my blindness, her pain a shadow I'd ignored. Daniel's silence, the clerk's fear, they pointed to a truth bigger than the will. I'd confront Laura, force her to face me, for Emma, for Jack, for the home she'd stolen. The judge's stain was on us all, but I'd scrub it clean, even if it meant tearing open old wounds. Time was slipping, the truth a tangle I'd cut through, no matter the cost. Laura was running, and I couldn't let her escape, not with my truth. I chased her to a train station, fog curling thick around the platform, my heart a drumbeat of dread. Her silhouette flickered under a flickering light, boarding a midnight train, her shoulders hunched, a fugitive in her own life. I spotted Daniel in the shadows, his eyes glinting like a wolf's watching her go. My breath caught. Was he her guard or her jailer? I slipped onto the train, the air stale with sweat and metal, hiding behind a rattling luggage rack, my pulse loud enough to betray me. Laura sat alone, clutching a leather bag, her face gaunt, eyes hollow with something like fear. I stepped forward, my voice a low blade. "Laura, why me? What did I take?" She flinched, her hands tightening on the bag, and whispered, "Mom broke me, and you let her." Her words were a knife, sharper than her courtroom stare, twisting in my gut. The train jerked, throwing me forward. I snatched the bag, my fingers brushing hers, cold as death. Inside was Mom's journal, its pages worn, heavy with secrets I wasn't ready for. The train's clatter drowned my thoughts, Laura's, eyes locked on mine, raw, broken. "You'll never understand," she hissed, her voice cracking like thin ice. I saw the girl who'd braided my hair, but also a stranger, her pain a storm I'd ignored. The fog outside pressed against the windows, the train a cage for us both. I clutched the journal, its weight a promise of truth, and pain. Had I let Mom break her, or was Laura's hate her own making? Her words echoed, a wound I couldn't close. I remembered us at 10, sneaking cookies, her laugh bright as summer. Where had that Laura gone? The train's rhythm mocked me, each jolt a reminder of time slipping away. Daniel's shadow loomed in my mind. Had he pushed her to this, or was he just a tool? Laura's fear, her hollow eyes, hinted at something. Deeper. A secret in the journal I hadn't read. I wanted to scream, to shake her until she spilled everything, but her silence was a wall, her gaze a mirror reflecting my guilt. The bag's leather burned my hands, Mom's journal a bomb I wasn't ready to detonate. The station neared, lights flickering through the fog. Laura's whisper hung in the air, a challenge I couldn't answer. I'd chased her here, but what was I chasing? Justice or forgiveness? The train slowed and I knew she'd run again, leaving me with scraps of truth. I held the journal, its pages a map to a sister I'd lost, a family I didn't know. I'd find her, force her to face me, for Emma, for Jack, for the home she'd stolen. The fog thickened, the train's whistle a scream in the night, and I was still here, still fighting, my heart a fire that wouldn't die. Mom's journal was a wound, its pages bleeding secrets Laura had carried alone. I read it on the train, the clatter fading as my world tilted, Mom's words a knife in the dark. She wrote of regret, of favoring me, her golden girl, leaving Laura to fade in the shadows. Laura's scrawled notes in the margins were raw, vicious. She took Mom's love, my life. My hands shook, the journal's leather warm, as if it held her pain. I saw Mom's last days. Her apologies to Laura I'd dismissed as fevered ramblings. Had I been wrong? The train lurched, and Laura bolted at a station, her coat flapping like a broken wing. I chased her into a rain-soaked alley, the air sharp. With wet asphalt, my voice cracking, "Tell me, Laura!" She turned, soaked, her face a mask of grief and rage. "You were Mom's everything, and I was nothing," she screamed, her words a thunderclap, shaking me to my core. Her eyes held the sister I loved, but also a stranger, consumed by decades of hurt. I clutched the journal, rain blurring its ink, a truth I couldn't escape. I remembered Mom's hospital room, her hand weak in mine, Laura absent, or so I thought. Had she been there, unseen, her pain ignored? The alley's rain stung my face, Laura's scream echoing. Had I taken Mom's love, or had Laura built this hate herself? The journal's pages turned in my mind, Mom's regret a weight I hadn't seen. I saw us as kids, Laura's smile fading when Mom hugged me longer. Was that the start? A crack I'd widened without knowing? Laura ran again, her footsteps fading into the rain, leaving me with the journal, its truth a chain around my heart. The train's whistle screamed behind me, the alley's walls closing in. I'd chased her for answers, but found my own guilt instead. Mom's words painted a family I didn't know, one where I'd been the favorite. Laura, the ghost. Her notes, her scream, they were a mirror, showing a sister I'd failed. I stood in the rain, soaked, the journal heavy, its secrets a wound I couldn't close. Back in the alley's dim light, I saw Laura at Mom's funeral, her tears not just grief, but fury. Had I missed her pain? Too wrapped in my own? The journal was a bomb, its truth detonating everything I thought I knew. I'd wanted Laura's confession, but this was worse. Her pain was real, and I'd helped build it. The rain mixed with my tears, the locket burning against my chest. I'd find her again, not for revenge, but for truth, for Emma, for Jack. Had I been so blind, letting Laura's pain fester into this? The alley was empty, but her scream lingered, a call I couldn't ignore. Back in our apartment, the journal's truth crushed me, its pages a map of a family I didn't know. Mom's words redrew us, me, the favorite, Laura, the forgotten, and her hate made a twisted sense. I sat in the dark, the locket heavy, Emma and Jack asleep, their breaths my only anchor. Claire called, her voice sharp. The judge's corruption was real, the will a fake, but Laura's pain was no lie. A hidden letter in the journal, Mom's writing to Laura, begged forgiveness for neglecting her, for loving me more. My throat burned, guilt a stone in my chest. Emma and Jack woke, their small hands steadying mine as I read Mom's letter aloud, its words a wound we shared. Susan, Mom's friend, called, her voice soft. Mom knew she'd failed Laura, her guilt a secret. She carried to her grave. I tracked Laura to a motel, its neon sign buzzing in the night, its lot littered with broken glass. Inside, her room smelled of stale smoke, her face gaunt, her fight gone. "I forged it," she whispered, voice breaking, "to hurt you, like Mom hurt me." Her confession was ash, too late to mend us. I saw the girl who'd braided my hair, but her eyes were hollow, her pain a mirror to mine. We cried, our tears mixing on the motel's worn carpet, but her apology was a ghost, weightless. I remembered Mom's last days, Laura's absence, or was it mine? Had I pushed her away, basking in Mom's love? The journal's letter burned in my mind, Mom's regret a truth I couldn't dodge. Laura's hate wasn't just hers, it was ours, built over years I'd ignored. The motel's walls closed in, The neons hum a taunt. I wanted to scream, to shake her until she took it back, but her brokenness stopped me. She wasn't the villain I'd painted, just a sister hurt, lashing out. I saw us at 10, sharing secrets, her laugh bright. Had I killed that? Claire's proof, the letter, Susan's words, they confirmed Laura's pain, but not her victory. I'd lost the house, but she'd lost herself. The locket swung, its weight a reminder of Mom's failure, and mine. I left Laura there, her sobs fading, the door clicking shut. Back home, Emma asked, "Is Aunt Laura coming back?" Her hope was a knife, and I couldn't lie. Jack hugged me, silent, his strength a tether. The journal sat open, its truth a scar. Laura's confession didn't heal. It hollowed me out, leaving questions I couldn't answer. Had I been the sister who took, or had Laura chosen this path? The motel's neon burned in my mind, her broken face a shadow I'd carry. I'd wanted truth, but found guilt, a weight heavier than loss. The fight wasn't over, but it wasn't just Laura's anymore. It was mine, too, for my kids, for me. I'm a mother without a home, a sister without a sister, but I'm still here, breathing through the wreckage. Laura's gone, maybe forever. Her journal on my table, a scar of our fractured family. Its pages, Mom's regret and Laura's pain, sit heavy, a truth I can't unsee. Emma and Jack are my light, their laughter in our cramped apartment a lifeline pulling me from the dark. I've lost so much, our Victorian house, its attic forts, our history. But I've gained something too, a raw, ugly truth, and the strength to carry it. The locket hangs around my neck, its metal cold, a reminder of Mom's love and her failure. I see Laura at the motel, her face hollow, her confession a wound. She forged the will to hurt me, not for money, but for pain. I wanted to hate her, but her brokenness was mine too. I remember us at 10, sneaking ice cream, her giggle a sound. I'll never hear again. Had I missed her hurt, too wrapped in Mom's light? The journal says yes, and I hate it. Emma's stuffed bear sits on the couch, its worn fur a tether to my kids' hope. Jack, 12, draws comics now, his pencil scratching life into our loss. Emma sings off-key, her voice a spark in the dark. They're why I'm standing, why I'm rebuilding. The house is gone, but its ghosts, Laura's smirk, Mom's voice, linger, urging me forward. I don't know if I'll forgive Laura or if she'll face herself. Her motel sobs echo, a sister I loved, a stranger I lost. The courtroom flashes in my mind, the gavels echo, Laura's icy stare. I thought she'd buried me, but I'm still here, shattered but standing. The journal's truth, Mom's letter, Laura's pain. They're mine now, a weight I'll carry for Emma and Jack. I see Mom's last days, her hand in mine, Laura's absence a choice. Or was it? Had I pushed her away, blind to her fading? The locket burns, a curse and a promise. I'll rebuild, not for Laura, but for my kids, for me. Our apartment's thin walls hum with life. Emma's laughter, Jack's quiet strength. The journal sits. Closed, its secret's no longer a threat. I've faced Laura's truth and mine, and it's enough to keep going. I don't know if Laura will return or if forgiveness is possible, but I know I'm not done, not beaten. If you felt a loved one's betrayal cut you to the bone, you know this ache, this fight. Like this, comment your story. Tell me I'm not alone. Subscribe, because this isn't the end. I'm still here, building from the ashes, and I need you with me, carrying this truth, this pain, this hope.